Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick-and-mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspire and Move podcast. I am your host, Ali Aruda, but it is a party for two today, baby, because it is Ali and Matt Aruda.
That's right. Your energy is like next level today.
It's Friday. I have been in the podcast studio all day with some amazing guests, some amazing conversations, and I really just love having you and I in here together to record at least one episode.
Yeah, let's knock it out. Let's do this. We've got some stuff to say.
We do. And I have better energy now and today than I did the last week. Because, or two.
Yeah.
Because I have felt a bit like a gremlin, and I think we both have. And I know I've already put out a little bit of content around this, but I actually feel quite passionate about sharing this in podcast form because I would like consuming this type of content as an entrepreneur, because life, business, entrepreneurship is not always beautiful and rosy and high vibe. It is very much challenging sometimes. And we have had a challenging 7 to 10 days. And we were on a call last night with our elite mastermind group. And I'll touch on this in a little bit later, but we had muted ourselves, and I was saying to you, I was like, why does this feel so challenging? Like, we have absolutely have gone through much worse, and we have navigated more overwhelm, more, capacity in a week in terms of, volume of work or client hours that I would be training. Like, why does this feel so different and so challenging? And we had a good sort of conversation around that, but we wanted to take all of that and pack it up into like a little protein ball and share it with you guys as content, so that hopefully this can maybe give you peace if you are going through challenging weeks, seasons as an entrepreneur, but also some tools and some insights and tangible takeaways.
I like that. I like that a lot. So I think what we're talking about is, and everybody has this in every capacity, whether it be, you work for yourself, you work corporate, whatever it might look like. But specifically speaking, entrepreneurship, there's a lot of wins that you can pull from on a daily basis. Just, I find peace in knowing that we have an impactful business, period. That is a win every single day, that people have a part of their daily lives that are heightened because of what we offer on a daily basis. And that's a win. But yes, there are things that had occurred in the course of these last couple of weeks that felt like setbacks in the face of, one trying to do good things and trying to obviously do what's best for the majority of people. But you know how that goes, where you can't be everything to everyone, and you can't make everyone happy, and all of the other taglines that are very, very real. Like these
Say it
things,
louder for those in the back.
Yeah, they're definitely listening. But all that said, these setbacks, as much as they are that, where they do set you back, or at least knock you back, let's say, the one thing they also do very well is they force clarity, because it forces you to slow down in that moment and to take stock of, what some of the more important things are in that moment, whether it be a decision that needs to be thought through clearer, whether it's communication that needs to be made clearer, sometimes a combination of the two. But all that to be said, the clarity component that comes with being set back is a real gift, because while you then get to move forward, albeit slowly, which has been the case for us in the last couple of weeks, the way in which you move forward, I think, is more intentional because of the clarity you've gained in being able to take a step back with your setback, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think also looking at it as a team sport, looking at resiliency as a team sport. And that is very true for Matt and I, because we are a team in life and in business, which wouldn't work for everyone. I am so grateful that it works really, really well for us, that we have different strengths and we balance each other out. I don't really want to say like weaknesses, but we have a great balance in what one is stronger at than the other. Matt is excellent at talking me off the ledge when I spiral into my emotions as a sensitive, people-pleasing female, which is not ideal when you're going through challenging times because you can totally let yourself spiral, literally, mentally, and all the things that you're thinking about. But recognizing that these challenging times, these moments that test you and your resiliency, that it is important to think of it as a team and to ask for help. I did this with a few friends. I did this with actually some of the girls on our team. I did this with some people in our community that are not only great friends, but some that are really wonderful business friends. And actually, I have like a beautiful relationship between real life friendship, but also business friendship. And I also want to throw in a note here about getting in the room. Matt and I are so passionate about that. But the true value that comes from that, sometimes when you don't even know that you need it. And perfect example, we were on this mastermind call last night, and just the support that was on this call of 60 people, 50 people, however many there was of us. And some of us were having amazing weeks, amazing months, and some were having hard times. And the questions and the conversations that were flowing through this, what ended up being a 2-hour call, brought a lot of peace and clarity, what you were just touching on. But I think really allowing me, and you can agree as well if this resonates with you, love, is it really resonated with how important it is. And I'm so grateful that we choose to make that investment, not only, yes, monetary investment, but our time and energy being in rooms like that, whether it is a physical room or a proverbial room like a Zoom room, but having conversations with people that are in the trenches with you and that will always inspire you, stretch you, and allow you to grow in the good times and in the challenging times.
Yeah, what it lets you realize relatively quickly is that you're not doing this on your own. And what you're feeling isn't the first time that anybody in the history of humankind has felt what you're feeling. Everybody at some point or another, and sure as hell anybody who has built a business, no matter the size or what scale that they've brought it to up to this point, they have felt the setbacks. They have felt the shitty weeks, whether it be with teammates leaving or with client issues or, tech not working properly or whatever the story might be. They've all felt it. And it's amazing as an entrepreneur, you wear all the hats, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many times I think back to my corporate days where email isn't working. Well, not my problem. IT will fix it.
Oh, I miss an IT department.
Right? Whereas now, guess who's IT? Yeah.
Me.
100. Well, yeah, in this case, yes. Absolutely. But my point being with all of that is, in these moments where you're feeling like you're stubbing your toe over and over again, it's really easy to feel alone. So when we are on this call of super well-connected human beings, and these are people, this mastermind call, these are people who have done remarkably well in whatever industry that they're in. We're talking like 7-figure, 8-figure businesses that have been doing this for, in some cases, many, many years. In some cases, not many years at all. They're just really freaking good at what they do. But my point with all of that is they still choose to pour into the community that is there because they know part of their success is being lifted by the community that they also show up to. And a lot of that resilience that they've learned or that they've been able to engage with has been rooted in community. The resilience came from being in that community, hearing that other people have done it and gone through it. And so that means they can too. It becomes almost the roadmap or the blueprint to know that as low as they might feel or as difficult as this might be, a million other people have figured it out before. So why wouldn't they figure it out before? I think it's a hell of a lot easier to find resilience when you're rooted in a community that's got your back, as opposed to, trying to do so through isolation, which I know is almost always our knee-jerk reaction is, all right, time to go into hibernation mode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna settle into the house. We're going to order in and we're gonna watch Netflix, and I'm not going out this weekend or any other night through the week for that matter. And I don't want to have to do with anything that makes me have to speak to somebody else. And that might be fine for the first day or two, just to kind of sit in your feels. But when push comes to shove, if you want to move the needle on getting through this efficiently, and so that you can get back to impacting, which is the whole point of why you opened your business to begin with, then you got to do so with the support of the community that kind of got you to that point.
I think these moments are also a great opportunity to do a little audit of who and where you spend your time.
Yeah.
And, if you have the interest and, ready to make the commitment to get into something like a mastermind, highly recommend, because again, just feeling super grateful for that community. And a lot of these people, we do not live in the same city. Actually, all of them, we don't live in the same city. But we have made some amazing friends through other masterminds that do live more locally, and we do prioritize spending time with them. We got to spend time with our great friend, Christina Bartold, today, and we met in a room, and we have each other's backs in life, in business, and that is a friendship I am just so grateful for, and I know I speak for both of us when I say that. But I think that these moments that you feel tested and you're stretching your resilience muscle, do a little audit of who you spend your time with, how you spend your time, where you spend your time, and what you're consuming, which I think kind of rolls beautifully into the tools that we sort of leaned into over this last little bit. And, again, allowing yourself to do that audit, because maybe there are people that are draining your energy or places that are draining your energy, and they're not allowing you to operate in that zone of genius and feel creative and feel like you can flex that growth and visionary muscle.
And I think what you're alluding to a large extent is leaning into the things that you can control.
Yes.
Right? I mean, there are so many things that happen on a daily basis that are beyond your control, whether it be client interactions that don't go positively, or again, tech not working, or machine, in our case, a treadmill goes down out of the blue. These are things that we cannot control. Right now, we are working with our landlords to have AC installed. It's kind of out of my control because I'm not the one who's going to arrange for it. If it was, guys, it would have been done 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was just saying, they don't move at the same speed as us.
It's not that difficult, but that's a whole other discussion, for goodness sake. But I think if you can control your own variables, and that means, your emotions, that means how and when you communicate, it's your connections to people. So to play off of what you just said, part of what you can control is who you choose to give your time and energy to. And if you're feeling that, part of the conversations that you're in during this lull of sorts are all conversations that just highlight the feelings that you're in, as opposed to trying to get you out of the feelings that you're in. Like you're talking to somebody and you're saying, oh, I've had a hard couple of days or a hard week, or, I can't wait till Friday. And the responses you're getting are, oh man, tell me about it. Like, let me tell you what has gone down in my life this week. And it too is all negative. You're just sitting in muck, right? Nobody's moving forward at all. You're just commiserating with one another at that point, which, is maybe as healthy as it might be to get it off of your chest. That's all true only the first or second time. It gets to a point where you've said it, you know how it feels, you have to move on. And that also means not putting yourself back in the situation or making you feel like you're putting back in the same situation with somebody who is also going through the same thing, when what you really need is somebody to kick you back in the game, to put you back on track and have you moving along as soon as possible. So as soon as you recognize, all right, I've given a day or two at most to feel like crap about whatever it is that's going down, the next thing you have to do is everything you can in order to kick it and move forward in the direction that you were going in before this took you off track.
I was just going to say, like, one of the things is having someone like, well, Matt and I are very lucky to have each other, whether it is your spouse, your business partner, a family member, a really supportive friend in your circle, but being able to have a conversation with them and ask, like, okay, what is one thing that you can control today? What is one thing that you can do today to move the needle forward? Or maybe it's just, what's one thing you're grateful for today? Because, sure as shit, as we're sitting here and we can talk about things that went wrong in our week last week, there are also so many things that we can sit here and be grateful for. Like, how lucky are we that every day we can move our body? We have 2 arms, 2 legs, everything works, and we can go and generate energy, move through feelings with movement. And that's something that was a non-negotiable no matter what for us. Even if sometimes you need to make a tweak, that one day we had a workout planned and both of us were like, you know what? I actually just want to do a 6-kilometer walk with the dogs by the water, have a coffee. listen to a podcast for half the walk and talk for half the walk.
And that was just as fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not the same kind of sweat, maybe not the same kind of adrenaline after the fact, but I wouldn't trade it for the world to have that time with, all of us doing what we were doing for that time. It was also as equally important.
And we knew that, we had one social event on our calendar and we wanted to follow through with that on the weekend, but also didn't want to add other things because we knew we weren't going to show up as our best selves. And so it's something that we recognized and wanted to make adjustments as needed. And so these are just some of the things that we did of, being mindful of what our social commitments were, trying to lean into some of the things that we were grateful for and what we could control, like gratitude and movement. I even had a moment where I was still finishing my book, The Psychology of Money. And I was like, you know what? This book's not really hitting right now. I need something much more emotional and spiritual. And I started a new Brianna Wiest book, and it was exactly what I needed. And so many nuggets and so many takeaways.
Killed it in 3 days.
I killed it in 3 days.
Yeah, it's just what the doctor ordered, evidently. Yeah.
Anything that you want to add to that from a tools standpoint, things that we did?
No, I think you nailed it. I think like you said, we're lucky enough to have each other who are each other's anchors for a lot of things, good, bad. Otherwise, we'll be each other's biggest fans, but also, we're good soundboards. In this specific scenario, the majority of the difficult times, let's call it, over these last 2 weeks. And listen, these things are not anything that are earth-shattering, that are going to define who we are. They're not going to make the book of Matt and Allie's lives at any given point.
No, it won't be a chapter in my book.
No, it's more of a pain in the ass. Just like, come on, man.
We have been through way worse. And that's been so interesting to talk about. And this is what I said to you last night. I'm like, we've been through so much worse. Like, why are these things bothering us so much? But they brought up other things that were actually a little bit more emotional, a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
Which is different than just navigating like a roof leaking or something in your business. That call this person, let's get this fixed, let's take action. You're working through it a different way. You're navigating through the emotions in a different way. And so often we would ask each other like, okay, how are you feeling? What's on your mind? Let's talk about it. Or a morning check-in over coffee.
But that's where I was going to go with it is, if you don't have an Allie or you don't have a Matt who are under the same roof as you, that's still not to say that you shouldn't, within the best of your abilities, have somebody to try and anchor you into this and have somebody that you can send a text to be able to grab a coffee and get it off your chest. It's important, but to not live in it. You have to move it along, and your partner should hopefully be that person to push you along if you have that, because there's no success for anybody just wallowing in the mud, right? Unless you're making mud pies.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah, and I think you guys, just sending you all a lot of love. If you are in the trenches of entrepreneurship, that you are in great company. And if you have the ability to seek support, not only in the moment if you need to ask for what you need, that can be really difficult. And we had a couple moments of that this week. We're like, oh my gosh, I don't really want to ask our friend or our mentor for this, but I think this is actually a good growth moment that we did. We did ask for help, and that was impactful for some of the things that we were going through. So not being afraid to seek support and ask for help, but also doing that little audit of who is in your circle, who is around you, and who will be there to kick you back in the game when you're in those challenging moments.
Yeah, the one word that I think that I picked up on, that I think you hit on the head there, is growth. And no matter what we're talking about here, in this case, specifically entrepreneurship life, albeit there were some other fun things in there. My credit card got compromised out of the blue, so that's kind of fun.
I got kicked off of Instagram.
You got kicked off of Instagram, and these are like the least of our concerns of what the last couple of weeks have been.
Super annoying, though.
All kinds of fun stuff. But there's lessons in all these things, right? And maybe the 5 year ago Matt and Allie would have been considerably more concerned about these other things, but they just don't hold the same kind of power. They don't hold the same kind of priority, because we know that they are not usually a long-term problem. There's something that are an annoyance right now. You kind of have to get through it, but a week from now, these things aren't going to really matter. And that's the idea of growth, is kind of recognizing these things, knowing that, it's not always going to be pretty while you're going through it, but it is almost always worth it at the end.
Absolutely. And I love that you said growth too, because we are getting really good at looking at things and like, okay, yeah, that was a growth moment, or like, what's the lesson there?
What the hell am I learning out of this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, if that resonates for all of you listening and watching, that is something that you should also celebrate. Like, Matt and I are going to wrap up this episode. We are going to go home. We're going to have a Negroni together with our dogs, and we're going to talk about this. And we're actually going to be in a better state where we can talk about, okay, what are some wins from the week? And being able to celebrate that. And if you are listening to this and you identify with the fact that, oh my gosh, yeah, 5 year ago version of me would hole up in the corner, cry, not know what to do. That was me. Do you know how many times I cried at Benchmark within the first 6 months? I had a very specific bathroom of the 2 that we have that had this little ledge on it, and I would just sit and I would cry and try to figure things out. And look at me now. Sometimes, not gonna lie, I do still cry at the gym, but it's much shorter bursts and much less frequently. But it is amazing to be able to celebrate that growth for yourself and recognize that there is so many more growth opportunities to come.
I couldn't agree more. Growth is power.
Growth is power. And there's so many learning lessons to come from it. So the quicker that you can lean into those growth moments and not run away from them and run for the trees, the sooner you will move quicker through those challenges and be able to make quicker decisions and take quicker action.
It's your comeback rate.
Yeah.
Right. And we have our friends and mentors, and Chris and Lori Harder, Lori specifically, who makes reference to this a lot, what your comeback rate is. Everyone gets knocked down.
Yeah.
At some point or another, you get punched in the gut, in the face, whatever it is, it hurts, and you stumble back. And the ability in which you get up faster and move quicker is largely, if not entirely, based on who you have in your circle to get you there that much quicker. Your comeback rate is exponentially quicker when you have the proper people and voices surrounding you to not just necessarily say, oh, it's okay, but also say, that's enough. Start moving forward and keep building.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm a big advocate for that. I got my Instagram back this morning and I was like, you know what? We are going live on Instagram.
Let's
we are recording a
effing go.
podcast. We are coming back, baby.
That's right.
So take all of these nuggets and put them in your pockets, share them with your friends. Maybe share this episode. If it resonated, you might get more of these episodes from us, you guys, because I feel like these are things that I would crave in these moments of challenge. And, who else has gone through it? How can they help me? What did they do? So I hope that there's at least one thing that resonated with at least one of you. And if we can be of help and of service, that makes me happy.
That's a win.
That's a win. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, weekend, wherever you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if this resonated and you would be so open to sharing this with a friend, I would love to see it. Share it in your stories. If anything resonated, send us a DM. I love that I can say that now because I'm back on Instagram. And if you love the show and you're up for giving a little 5-star rating and review, we would be so grateful. It's how the show grows, and we can continue to bring you great content and great episodes and great guests. So sending you so much love and gratitude, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.